Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the top sports stories that are happening from this past week. Danny is already in the house. Thank you, Danny, for joining. I hope you enjoy our show tonight. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
Oh, a little grouchy, Eric. A little grouchy.
Let's start the show.
I got a feeling that this is going to be one to remember.
One to remember. Listen, a lot's happened in the sports world. Even though, listen, NFL's over. We're like, oh, there's not going to be much to talk about. Plenty to talk about this week. If you are joining us live like our man Danny is, please feel free to join the chat. Let us know if you have any comments, concerns, questions that you want to talk about in the sports world. We'd be glad to do that. George Costanza, how are you? He wants to know how Costanza's doing. You may see a lot of Costanza tonight, Danny.
Oh.
We also want to thank all of our listeners out in Dallas, Georgia, WDJY 99.1 FM on every Saturday at 1 p.m., as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island on Saturday mornings. And thank SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut for putting us on every Tuesday night. If you're watching or listening on any of those fine programs, let us know. Come join us on a Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we are always live and fan interactive. My Lakers are going to win. He's already starting. All right, Danny. All right. Whenever you're ready to kick the show off, you let me know, Ron. Are you ready?
Danny is not going to like me today.
Danny doesn't. Okay. I don't think he likes you ever, but
he's not going to like me today.
All right. Do you want to get this party started?
Oh, yes.
Let's get this party started then. And let's start off with our leadoff story. Team Canada defeated Team USA last night in the Four Nations Championship game. Your thoughts on what went wrong with Team USA in the tournament overall?
I think we'll put it bluntly. Hellebuck can't win a big game, and Billington can. Billington got his ego wounded for the past 3 weeks because, why'd they pick him? He's not the best goaltender. Yeah, well, you know what? Look how he played, especially in that overtime, with 3 incredible saves off of Austin Matthews, of all people, right? You got a 60-goal scorer, point blank, and robbed him twice, and then shortly after that, another time. And then what happens after you get a big save in overtime? They skate down, and they get the goal. I mean, it's that simple. And Hellebuck is great, but he hasn't exactly had a great playoff history. And frankly, this is similar to a playoff. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
He can't win a big game.
And then Bennington, correct?
Billington.
Yeah, Billington, he won back in 2019. They kept bringing that up in Boston for the Stanley Cup. Like, this is just his spot. Like, this is where he wins.
Just like, beat me when I'm down, right? You know? And it's like, I knew it right from the start, heading into overtime. It's like, this is not going to end well. It's just not going to end well. I thought, though, it would be Brad Marchand sticking the knife in our backs, right?
And then getting traded. Be like, hey, sayonara, Boston.
But it was McJesus.
Yeah. Danny's more an old timers, likes the Wayne Gretzky's of the world. But listen, this tournament brought a lot of excitement, though, Ron.
Oh my God, it was fantastic.
I think we criticized it, but honestly, the more that these games mattered, you saw the game, and this is where I think USA messed up a little bit. So amped up Saturday night in Montreal, the brawls, the first 9 seconds, 3 fights, like everything. They won that game convincingly. I think they left it all on the table there. And then when they had to face Canada again, now here back in the States.
They also made another mistake. It was with the roster. And I get why they do it, because it was Matthew Tkachuk. He wanted to play. And I get it. He's that kind of a player. You're not going to keep him out of the lineup, but he's hurt. Okay. To me, it looked like a groin injury. And, you know, he couldn't make it through the second game of the tournament. And he sat out, you know, the third game against Sweden. He wasn't able to go. He played like the first 12 minutes of the game. So that took out a big part of your offense, and you had to mix up lines. And then when you put in Kreider in his place, it wasn't the same. Chris Kreider barely got any ice time in that game. And so instead of dressing Kyle Connor, which they should have done in the first place because he's that similar type of guy, they should have dressed him and not Kreider, because if you're not going to use him in the game, why dress him and bring in Kyle Connor, who's, you know, a good goal scorer, especially this year. And so now you're using 3 guys less than what you need to be.
Well, I think, too, also, Ron, Canada took it personally. They still feel this is their game.
Yes, it is.
From their country.
Absolutely
right?
correct.
Everybody talked about the 2 best teams that were in this were them and USA. And when USA went up there and beat them, they had a vendetta when they came back to say, look, we're not going to allow you to beat us again.
Yeah.
And I think they had more pride.
It was a perfect game, right? It was great. They're very evenly matched in different ways. Obviously, I think the American team had the better defense, while obviously Canada has the best offensive talent, and they can make something out of nothing. And you know, you can't leave Connor McDavid that alone.
Yeah.
right out in front, about 10, 15 feet out in front. You can't leave him alone there. That's just a no-brainer. And that's what happened. And he did his job, right?
Yep. Nate McKinnon named the tournament MVP, scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty much a factor in every game. So I wanted to ask you a couple questions, Ron, before we move on and talk about some other topics. But Connor McDavid loses in the Stanley Cup. Team's close, though. We think Edmonton's close, one of the top teams in the NHL now. Does this win for him maybe give him some confidence? They talked about that a little bit last night afterwards.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. He knows what he has to do. And he said himself that he played terrible in that game. You know, and it's true. He wasn't very good. And he wasn't very good the first time they played each other. But I'll tell you one thing. He made himself accountable, and he did what he needed to do in the end. Now, when you look across to the other team, where was Austin Matthews? Where was all of these talented players, you know, in that game? They didn't do much of anything. You know, you're talking guys like Jack Eichel and you know, and Hughes and all of these goal scorers. They didn't do anything.
The little Mighty Ducks reference there from Danny. Yeah, Mighty Ducks, great movie, right? And think about it, they made an NHL team out of it.
Yeah, they did.
Right, which is kind of crazy. So my second question, Ron, would be this. So Team USA, they said they felt, even with the loss, they felt hopeful because they felt like the team can show that they can compete on a world scale. Do you feel that same way? Should they be optimistic about how they perform?
Oh,
in
I
this
think
one?
they should be. They should definitely be. And, I think maybe a tweak or two to the lineup. Of course, we didn't have Quinn Hughes on defense either. That's a big minus. So I mean, you're looking at, hopefully you have him come the Olympics next year. I mean, just one roster spot could make a difference. And I don't think they're going to bring back Kreider. I mean, because if they're not using him, why bring him back? You're not going to have Brock Nelson, most likely, because they're not playing much. They're not getting much ice time. So why bring them back? You can bring somebody else back that now you're going to need somebody that can really take away Connor McDavid and his speed.
Yeah.
Because you just got to put somebody on him. And I'll reference back when Wayne Gretzky played, he didn't do as well against the Boston Bruins because they put Steve Kasper, a defensive forward, on him, and he just stuck to him like glue. He just went everywhere he went. And there's something to be said about that. You just put a shadow on him. It's no different than putting a spy on a quarterback that can run.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. He said Team USA should have watched Mighty Ducks movie.
No. They
Which
watched
one?
Miracle. That's enough. Miracle is the one you watch, not the Mighty Ducks.
And they get a call from the president, and then they lost. I don't know what that means. You take that for.
I mean, when it comes down to it, Eric, when you compare the three All-Stars, NHL, NBA, NFL, that was clearly the best.
Yeah. Oh,
that was clearly the best.
Definitely one of the more entertaining.
It also got 10 million viewers, which is pretty good for a hockey game.
Listen, first of all, if you're going to do it, USA has to be a competitor.
Yeah.
But not in a way of, hey, look, USA's in it. No, they have to be. I think that helped that they were playing so well.
Yeah.
And I think we all know about right now as a country, the world, right? Us and Canada have a little bit of a disagreement on some stuff. So I think that helped because there was some bad blood there as well.
Some of this tariff stuff, I think.
Yeah. So, but getting your national anthem booed in Montreal.
That's disrespectful for Montreal fans.
Look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I just think it amplified the games. I think it made people want to watch it more because now you had a bigger interest in what was going to happen and who you rooted for and why. So, listen, great job. I'd like to see the NBA. Some people are suggesting, right? Like the NBA should do maybe Team USA versus the world, and you get like a Giannis, a Luka, those kind of guys on the world team.
Might not be so good for the U.S.
Yeah, I don't think we have as many.
Jokic,
right?
Luka, Giannis. Right. Woo!
Kyle, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. I want that cup, George. He wants that cup. All right, Danny, I know you're going to be interested in this next topic. Great topic, though. Great tournament, Ron. I'm sure you were excited about, how the NHL performed with this. Some good news coming out of it, too.
They really did. Although I don't like the injuries that came out of it.
I don't, which we will talk about one of them later on in the show. Not sure if you heard, but ESPN will no longer be broadcasting MLB. They broke their contract. This is their last season. A lot of talk that the NHL is going to get a lot more exposure on ESPN going forward. So we talked about which sports are going to start how they're going to rank. NHL might move up just based on what they did with these four nations.
I got to give them credit for it. I really do. It was a joy to watch. I watched almost every single game. I think I just missed one.
Yeah. Kyle said best.
Was incredible.
Kyle said best format, right? Like I think a lot of people just really enjoyed. Honestly, if they're smart, maybe they go like 6 nations. I really think they should have a Russian team in there. And I you know what I mean? You could probably have a Czech team or just to kind of really, make it more interesting. Those first couple games would matter more.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because of the time you have.
Yeah.
But you don't have to play everybody.
Yeah, you could do like a one and done. You lost, you know what I mean, in that first round.
Yeah, it's just tough with 6 teams. I think if you had 8 nations involved, I think that
Yeah.
is the perfect thing. And you just have one game, everybody plays the first night, then you got 4 teams left, play, and then you got the two
The two
teams.
teams,
That's it.
right? Yeah.
You just do it that way.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Danny wants you to wear some Lakers gear, so we'll see if that's going to happen this season.
What?
Season 5. All right. So, Ron, let's talk some NFL. This is a story that's kind of been thrown out there, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about it. I know we have some Dallas Cowboy fans out there that are watching right now, so if you're interested in talking about this, please let us know. But should the Dallas Cowboys consider trading Micah Parsons?
I mean, if they're not going to try to contend, then, you might as well. I mean, he's just getting wasted there right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the roster for them.
Yeah, so I kind of look. So first of all, they're over the salary cap.
Yeah.
So that's already a problem. They got 10 picks in the first round in the draft in 2025. Number 12 is their first pick in the first round. So at that point, what kind of impact play are you going to get? Definitely need to work on the offensive line. Danny seems to think Michael got traded. They need a running back. They need defensive line. They know they're getting beat up in the trenches. I don't know if you keep Micah Parsons, you're able to do that. So first off, Ron, I want to say in the 4 seasons he's been in the league, he ranks 5th in sacks. So 52.5 sacks over the 4 seasons, which is great. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson, and Nick Bosa are the only guys ahead of him in the last 4 seasons. Very good talents. But then you start looking at the highest paid defensive players. Nick Bosa is making $34 million a year. Chris Jones, 31.7, Josh Allen, 30, and TJ Watt, 28. You put him anywhere in between that, he's a $30 million a year guy. That takes basically you completely out of revamping this team and getting some talent back into the building.
Yeah.
I think the best option for Dallas, as crazy as it sounds, is to trade Micah Parsons and allow yourself to get some players, because you're going to need more than 2-3 players to be a championship team again, especially in that division.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to put things in perspective when you're looking at a lost season from what they just ended, right? I mean, it didn't go very well. And losing Dan Quinn was massive for their defense. So we don't really even know how good they can be. And are we going to know that this year with another change? I mean, is he going to be any good to lead the defense this season?
Yeah. So Danny's he's ready to leave. He said he'd even take a pay cut. Even that, like, okay, let's say he takes $20 million. You don't think after 2 years he's going to want to restructure that contract and want more money and become a problem? Issue with some of these guys right now, and I'm not saying, listen, we do a podcast, but we're just some regular guys. Some of these professional athletes put their podcast before they put their professional team.
Yeah, things have changed, right?
He may be one of those guys. Like, he does a podcast. He kind of says some things about the team on his podcast. I think he should leave some of that stuff out and focus on the team aspect. And I think that's what causes it. Danny says,
I'm starting to believe that they need to start limiting what can be done by players, because I don't think any player should be doing a podcast. I don't think they should be doing one, and I know that's a fine line of what you can and cannot do. But I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with players promoting the gambling things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's former players, they can do whatever they want. But current players should not be able to do the podcast. They should not be able to do the promoting gambling sites. They should not be able to do that. I think that's making problems that could be, much bigger in time.
Yeah, look, we've seen the gambling thing. We're seeing the podcast. Kyle, he wants talent around him. Yeah, the salary cap went up, which could help Dallas a little bit. But when you're already over the cap, getting that extra money might not be that beneficial. I know they had
because you can spend that in other ways in players that you don't have to spend a boatload, but you want to be able to, like linemen. You want to be able to pay for those linemen to protect your quarterback.
And I think realistically, we got to go back and think about how they messed up on Dak Prescott. And why is Eric talking about Dak Prescott? I'll tell you why I'm talking about Dak Prescott. Because I think the way that Dallas handled his situation caused Dak to say, look, I'm not going to do what's best for the team. I'm going to do what's best for Dak Prescott. Because realistically, Dak Prescott would probably be the best option to rework a contract and save this team a ton of money. And he's not going to do it based on the fact of how he was treated when he was a free agent and the tough time Dallas gave him to get that contract done. That's where they started to mess up. So now a guy like Parsons wouldn't have affected you as much if you had to sign him to $30 million because Dak would rework his deal. That's not going to happen. Jerry Jones still has to be the blame for what Dallas's struggles are because he's the one that's creating this mess.
Yeah. And it's, it goes back to that culture word, right? I mean, there are different kinds of cultures. And what Jerry Jones has created was the me culture. Now all these players know, okay, I'm going to get mine. And if I can't get mine here, I will go somewhere else. And that's what he's creating.
And you see these
Parsons teams is now looking at it, it's like, do you value what I do? Like, I mean, at worst, he's going to be the 5th highest paid defensive player, in the league. At worst.
So Danny's base Dak Parsons kindergarten annoying little brat. I don't agree with that in one aspect. I think that again, we just said it. Ron just said it. The culture in Dallas is that it's about me and me only. Micah Parsons doing a podcast is about him. It's not about the Dallas Cowboys. It's not going to benefit the team with some of the things he said and did. Dak Prescott is upset because of how Dallas treated him. So it is about him. It isn't about the team anymore. Guys like Tom Brady who took less money or reworked their deals. Have
those players anymore.
Right? They don't exist very often anymore. And in Dallas, it's gone to the point of it's us against Jerry. And until Jerry Jones either decides to step away or change how he handles these situations, you're going to continue to see guys do these things, and this team's going to continue to struggle. And even if you trade Micah Parsons, do you feel comfortable, Ron, with Jerry Jones picking the next players that are going to succeed him to be successful?
No. Like, first of all, I don't doubt that he can find talent. He found Parsons, right? He finds players, but how happy are they going to be going into interviews with Dallas? When they know going in there, they're not going to get really recognized at all by the ownership. And, I mean, yeah, it used to be America's team. I don't think it's even close to what they used to be. It's not America's team. They haven't won in like 50 years. 40, I guess 40, right? 40 years. And they're going to go somewhere else where, hey, you know what? I'm a free agent. Why am I going to go sign in Dallas when we're not going to win because of the philosophies? When I know if I go to San Francisco, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Buffalo, I'm going to make the playoffs. And I'm pretty confident in those franchises that we can get there. And that's what free agents are going to do.
Yeah, some guys on the offensive line Kyle. Yep, retired. Dak's gonna need a line. That's gonna be a question mark. So even if you get a running back, can he run behind that line? I do not know why he left Penn State. I know he was eligible for the draft and was considered one of the top defensive players, Danny. But if there's another story behind that, love to hear that as well. But we'll see how this all works out, Ron. Because again, at the end of the day, can you even survive another year of Micah Parsons without being signed? Because I think it's just going to create more animosity for him. And again, on his podcast, I'm sure more stuff will come out.
Look, when we hit draft day, that's going to tell us a lot. Because when you're picking, in 7 to 20 in that area, is it in your best interest to maybe trade your first pick for a Micah Parsons? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could really improve your team being in one of those positions where you're going to get Micah Parsons, who's only been around for a few years. So he's not even at his prime yet.
Mm-hmm.
So would you not trade your first pick for a Micah Parsons?
Without a doubt.
Especially if you're a team like Baltimore, Buffalo, and all those other teams that I mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you not? Why would you not?
Yeah. If you're one piece away, right? Micah Parsons might be that piece.
It could be.
You know what I mean?
And that's a big piece.
Yeah. I think he wasn't there during that portion of Penn State, Danny. That was the previous regime. Actually, a few years removed at this point.
Yeah, so, it's been a while. Been a while.
Yeah, he was considered one of the top defensive players.
Because they've already served their sentence as a school and all that. Yeah. So it's we're looking at least a decade now.
Yeah.
At least.
Right. Wow, I believe it's been almost that long, huh? Joe Paterno, all those guys. Yeah. All right, Ron. Great NFL talk. If you have any more NFL talk you want and you're joining us live, please feel free to join the chat. Danny and Kyle, thank you so much for continuing to carry on the conversation as well. But we're going to move on to our starting five. Wrong thing. Oh. Starting five. So our starting five. I was really hoping Kenny was on tonight because I wanted to do Kenny with some of these number 8s, because there were some guys I was like, wow, I forgot that they even played for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I don't even know why we're doing the number 8s.
Number 8s, buddy, because it's the 8th episode, Face the Nation. So we said, let's do something a little fun.
There's 4 sports with number 8s.
There was. But these are all on the same team.
Yes, right. But you could have done 30 teams in like 4 different leagues.
That's all right. So we're going to Boston Celtics all-time number 8s. We're going to rank them from 5 to 1, our starting 5. As usual, we have honorable mentions. So I will start us off. I have 2.
How?
First off, Howie Shannon, his one season in 1949-1950, 13.4 points per game for the Boston Celtics. And then
not the numbers I saw.
And then the original. Okay, the original number 8, Al Brightman. You got to give him credit for being the very first number 8 in Boston Celtics history. 9.8 points per game in his one season with the team. So I gave those 2 my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I don't have any.
That's just wrong, buddy.
And if it was their whole careers, I would only have 1 honorable mention.
All right. So we start off with our number 5. So our number 5 in our starting 5, number 8, Boston Celtics. It has to be for me, Al Jefferson at number 5, 10.3 points, 6.9 rebounds, no assists, like 0.7 assists, but at 5, Al Jefferson.
What are you looking at? Number 5 has to be Scott Wedman. He averaged 6.2 points, 2.1 boards, and 1 assist a game. There's no way I put him ahead of Al Jefferson. There's
Al
no
Jefferson,
way.
more points and more rebounds. What are you talking about?
Al Jefferson has 10.3.
Yeah.
Scott
4 points.
Wedman, 6.2.
Okay, 4 more points per game.
Yeah, and 4 more boards.
Okay, so there you go. That's why he's ahead of him.
No, you have Al Jefferson at number 5.
I have Al Jefferson ahead of Wedman. I didn't even have Wedman in my honorable mentions.
Then how the hell do you have somebody ahead of it? Oh, you have somebody that does not belong. You have somebody that doesn't belong.
Maybe we're confused. If Al Jefferson averages more points and more rebounds, why wouldn't he be ahead of Wedman?
Okay. Maybe I forgot a number 8. Who's number 8 now?
All right. Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So,
At number
yes, you're right. You're
okay.
right.
At number 4 for me, I had Jeff Green. 14.6 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 1.5 assists. No accolades with the Boston Celtics.
Okay. So then I would have Al Jefferson at number 5. I forget about Porzingis. In my defense, the website that had all the number 8s didn't
have
list Porzingis.
They did not.
And then I forgot about. I was like, "Hey, is there anybody number 8?" So yes, Jeff Green would be my number 4.
All right. So at 3 for me, and kind of disappointing. He only lasted 2 years, but I think he really could have been more if he was healthy. Kemba Walker, 19.9 points, 3.9 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 1 All-Star with the Boston Celtics. They
Good
were
numbers.
just number 8s. They had to have won the number 8 for the Boston Celtics.
Danny, you haven't figured out this game yet?
So Kemba Walker, number 3 for me.
Kemba Walker would be number 3 for me as well, Eric. I got a feeling we're going to have the same list.
Okay. At 2 for me, Kristaps Porzingis.
Yup.
Already 19.8 points, 7.1 rebounds, 2.0 in assists, the 1 championship. So obviously, of all the number 8s, only one to win a championship.
Yes. He also would be my number 2 because the guy ahead of him has amassed a pretty good career in Boston.
Yeah.
So JP, if he plays that long, he'll blow him away.
He could. So I will say this: the longest tenured number 8 ever in Boston Celtics history is my number 1, Antoine Walker.
He was a nice player.
He was 20.6 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, 4.1 assists. Those are all just Boston Celtic numbers. He made the all-rookie team his first year, and he was a 3-time All-Star for the Boston Celtics.
I thought he won Rookie of the Year that year, didn't he?
He did not, but he was on the all-rookie team.
3 All-Stars. I mean, he did a good job, and let me tell you, he didn't have much help along the way.
No, him and Pierce, and that was it for quite some time.
Yeah,
Bill Russell in the 50s, John Havlicek. He's just doing the best.
Yeah, you're just naming players. We could do the same thing, Danny, but they have to wear number 8. Number 8. The
None
key
of those guys
jersey
were number 8.
number.
Are we talking about 205? I don't know.
205? What is 205, Danny?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Danny, there you go. Costanza, get a hold of him.
Don't get on. Don't look. I'm telling you. Don't get me started, Danny. Don't get me started.
Let's continue this NBA talk, though. No, we're talking about number 8's all time in Boston Celtics history, Danny. They wore the number 8 only. That was their number for the Boston Celtics. Number 8.
Lord.
Danny, come on. Stay focused, buddy.
Get with the program.
No years. Any year, the franchise's history, number 8's for the Boston Celtics.
None of those players you have mentioned wore the number 8. None of them. Not one.
Antoine Walker, Kristaps Porzingis, Kemba Walker, all wore the number 8 for the Boston Celtics. Al Jefferson won the number 8 for the Boston Celtics. Got
Kenny
it, Danny.
Battle wore number
Kenny
8.
Battle. Bro, Stephon Marbury. Does anybody remember Stephon
Marbury.
Marbury? I was like, I don't even remember Stephon Marbury. And then Marquise Daniels.
He was terrible, too. He only had 3.8 points.
Horrible for the Celtics. Marquise Daniels, I remember when they made that trade from Dallas. I'm like, this guy's going to be awesome. Stunk. Jonas Jerebko. I mean, there was some names.
Marbury's last season in the NBA was that.
Yeah.
And then he went overseas or something.
Write that there. Then I can understand what you were talking about. Okay, next time. My graphics guy, maybe that's,
That, Danny, you might not understand it because you have LeBron chirping in your ears.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's continue this NBA talk, though, Ron. Big story coming out of the NBA yesterday. Victor Wembanyama has been shut down for the season by the San Antonio Spurs. Should the Spurs be considered concerned about his future?
Well, yeah, because he could turn out to be another Chris Bosh type, with his problems. This is a serious issue.
Yeah,
because they don't even really know if he's going to continue having these problems. Until they do, and you're not going to know it until after they fix this one for the blood clot.
Yeah, if it's going to continue.
So it's all up in the air. So he's not going to play for at least 6 months. He's not playing.
I was saying the same thing. I'm concerned because, again, this isn't like, hey, I get knee surgery, I should be good to go. This is something where this could basically be around for the rest of his career. And again, it takes time when it does get discovered before they can get through this. So for your example of 6 months, if this happens again early in a season and that's 6 months, that's your whole season.
Yeah. This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing, and they should be very worried, and
which is sad too, because if you think about the league and the future of the league and the face of the league, he was going to be that guy. Like, you could see it, the points, the rebounds, the blocks.
I understand that, but you can't call him the face. This is why I got so upset, and it's going to lead into it. It's going to lead into it. I can't stop.
He's the future of the league.
One of the players of the future of the league. One of the players. We don't know who's going to take the horns and run with it, right? We don't know.
Names. Give me more names.
SGA. Why not him? He's probably going to win MVP this year.
Okay.
So you that's all you need to even talk about. He's got to get through him first. You still have some of these players, like, not for nothing, but Luka's not exactly old. What is he, 25 years old?
I think this is where Danny's getting confused. The segment's name, Danny, is called Starting Five. So we're basically picking a starting five from whatever topic.
Danny, pay attention.
So by you saying starting five Boston Celtics number 8, he's thinking I'm saying the starting Boston Celtics, not starting 5 Celtics. That's the name of the segment.
And the other idiot is supposed to be the face of the face of the league, and he's a total jackass. Total jackass.
Yeah, but he's not the face anymore.
I am so. Here it comes. Here it comes. Hold on. Hold everything. Everything.
He's not the face of the league anymore. Here it is. Ron's rant.
I am so sick of this man. Sick of him. I wish I could just squash him. I'm so sick of this guy. Everything is about him. And that All-Star game set me off so bad. Set me off because, my foot hurts. My foot. Oh, that's BS. He didn't want to play in the stupid All-Star game because his son wasn't one of the rising stars. And that is the whole thing. That is the truth. This man is bringing the NBA down so bad. I can't believe the other players respect him at all. There's no way. You can't respect this guy. Oh, I'm here. Oh, I'm so sick of everything being about this man, and he is just awful to this league. Awful. And that is why all these players are flopping all over the place, taking days off, is because of this jackass. That's who's done it. He has ruined the NBA. As much as all those players before came into the league and they made something out of it. Bird and Magic, Jordan, Shaq, all of these guys came in and they contributed to the league. Tim Duncan,
Kobe.
Hakeem, right?
Kobe shot a free throw while tearing his Achilles because he wasn't sure what it was and he wanted to make sure he came back in the game.
That is a player. That was the last of them. That was the last of them, was Kobe. And then this schmuck comes into the league and destroys it, makes a mockery out of the league. And his son shouldn't even be in the NBA. His son is lucky he's eligible for the G League because he's not that good either. And I'm so sick of him pulling this crap an hour before the game. Oh, I'm not playing. My foot hurts.
Yeah,
and then the next day, he's over there kicking the stupid basketballs with his foot like he's playing soccer, and then he's jumping around. He's an ass.
Last night, he scores over 40 points.
Yeah, he's an ass.
If your foot was that bad, why would you play the next game? If you game time decision. It wasn't exactly. And you know what? I agree with you. And I think this is the problem because Laker fans like Danny, they want to talk about Golden State, downtown San Francisco, dangerous. What does that got to do with LeBron James refusing to play in a game? He refused to play in the game because he didn't want to play in the game. He's the reason why all these guys don't want to be in the slam dunk contest. And we keep talking about how crappy the slam dunk contest is. You know why? Because the best player at the time didn't want to participate in it. He didn't want to participate in it. So all these other guys said, well, if he's not going to do it or he doesn't have to do it, why am I doing it?
It was because his son wasn't in the Future Stars. That's all. That's all it was. He took his ball and went home and cried like a little baby. Like he always does. Cries like a baby for everything. His little temper tantrums. If that was a player like what's his face from Golden State? Draymond, he would have been teched up all these times. No, but the league has to bow down to this jackass, and he's.
And can I say this,
GOAT.
Ron?
You're not the GOAT. He's not even close to the
If
GOAT.
I got to hear another LeBron James broke a stat, the man's played for 22 years. I hope so at this point. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, he broke a stat. He's playing forever.
Eric, and what topped it all off after that, then I got to sit here listening to the other jackass. Yes, that jackass right there. Have to listen to him in his stupid interview. Oh, what if they ask you to DH? Oh, no. I'm a third baseman.
He said,
you know what? Screw you, Devers. Screw you. Because I'm sick of your crap, too. Trade his ass out of Boston.
Agreed.
Put him where someone else wants him.
It's not about winning. It's not about winning with these guys. And that goes to prove, listen, if you know you're not the best third baseman on that team and you'll be more valuable for this team as a hitter, why wouldn't you want to do that?
So
like it doesn't,
angry, Eric.
your contract, you know what it is, Ron? I would say this. This is what bothered me more about Devers. I'm not a Red Sox fan, but I said, this is what bothered me more about Devers. If Devers was saying, hey, I'm going into a contract here and I know I'd get paid more as a third baseman, that's why I don't want to do it. Your contract signed for the next 10 years. This doesn't affect you at all. If next season they get rid of Bregman because they decide they don't want to pay or he opts out or whatever, you go back to third. This wasn't something where you say, if I'm about winning and that was my focus, then I don't care whatever it takes. I will move over. Listen, Aaron Judge, we can say is the best player on the New York Yankees, is moving to right field because it's the best thing.
Can we give you like everybody and we'll just take Judge? Because Judge says everything right. He does everything the right way. I'm just so sick to my stomach.
Danny's giving out Bronny James's address.
What are you doing?
Danny! Holy cow. Guess who my neighbor is? 5 apartments down from me. We can't. Who's her neighbor? Danny, get him on the show. Call Brownie up. Get him on the show.
Eric, I'm just so tired of players, and it's all about me. The Red Sox will not win another World Series with this man on the team.
No, absolutely. He's not your best player now. And I'm not saying because of the talent, because he's not a true team player. He's not a true team guy. And he's going to do what's best for me. And we know that doesn't work.
And I'm not going to watch him as long as he's on the team. Not going to watch it. And I was praising Devers before when they traded
James Worthy lives 5 apartments down.
Oh,
wow.
Shoot.
That's kind of cool. That's really cool.
I'm so angry at sports this week. I don't even know what to do anymore. I can't stomach seeing any news about LeBron. I'm so sick of, and all I get is these stupid reels about him. And I can't take it anymore. I'm going to have to block all the reels that I get from basketball because I'm sick of seeing this man. And he's a joke. He is a joke. And Devers is following him right to hell.
Wow. All right. Well, some great NBA talk.
I feel so much better.
James Worthy is his neighbor. That's so cool, Danny. That is awesome. If you got a picture, send it in. We'll put it up. We'll put it up. Send a picture.
Don't be peeking in his windows.
Yeah, don't do that. Like, don't break into his house or anything.
We'll still put it up, but don't do that.
Yeah, don't be one of those guys and then take a picture with his jersey on his house. Don't do that, Danny. But just if you got Victor's out, we're moving on. Let's move on from Victor Wembanyama.
We're gonna see him arrested tomorrow. Watch.
LeBron brought over JJ Redick from the podcast. Yeah, that's it too. That was another thing. Thank you, Danny, for bringing that up. The man picked his coach from the guy he's doing podcasts with. Because this was another yes guy.
Yes,
thank you, Danny. You just made it better for us. Thank you. Let's talk some Major League Baseball, Ron. Let's move on. Good luck. Get healthy, Victor. We wish you well on this journey, but it's going to be a tough one.
Yes.
It's going to be a tough one. Great young talent. I know Ron doesn't want to say maybe.
I know. No, he is. He's a great player.
Right. So it's sad. All right. So this just is, I guess, in its early phases, Ron, but we figured we'd talk about your thoughts on the ABS, or the Automated Ball Strike Challenge in Major League Baseball. This was something they're doing in the minors. They're testing it out in the spring training now. They actually had a call overturned recently in a spring training game. Your thoughts? So before we talk about it,
I saw the video of it too.
In short, players are able to challenge any call of a ball and a strike. There are limits, though. Only the pitcher, catcher, or the batter can call for a review, and it must be done immediately. So the umpire announces the call without communication with the dugout. So there's no communication. Once a call has been challenged, an automated replay system will determine exactly where a pitch was located when it crossed home plate. Using a set of cameras placed around the ballpark, a computer animated replay will play on the scoreboard to announce the outcome of the challenge. The whole process takes about 15 to 20 seconds.
Yes.
Each team has 2 challenges. If a challenge is correct, meaning the system's overturned, you get to keep it and obviously have another challenge. But if it's incorrect, the call stands, a team loses a challenge. Again, currently in testing. Your thoughts?
I think it's in the right direction. What I do think should happen, though, when you challenge, if you're wrong,
you get pants.
You get another one on top of it.
You get pants.
Because they're just going to be doing it willy-nilly, and it's like, no, you got to make it mean something.
I would pants the player. Pants the player.
Now, would I think that it's going to be better? Yes, because the umpires are always wrong.
But this is my 2, Ron. What does 2 do? And then when do you really call it? Like, that's the part that bothers me, because football has the same thing. You can challenge a play, but not in the last 2 minutes, which is probably the most important time you'd want to challenge something. Right? So what, am I going to blow my challenge in the first inning? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, what? So in the ninth inning, we're just going to see challenge after challenge after challenge.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But look, if this works good, if it's accurate, and I think it will be, because I pay attention to that little box on TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let me ask you
and
this,
how
Ron.
many times do the umpires get it wrong? All the time.
Ron, pitch clock, bigger bags. We want to speed up the game, right? Pitch count, right? Pitch,
and then you
pitch
do
clock.
this.
And now you do this to make the game longer. 15, 20 seconds. How many times you see a replay go 15, 20 seconds? I don't care what it says. And then the batter's got to do his whole bat thing, the gloves, the thing. It's like a minute more.
I don't know. I don't know, because like when somebody says, "Oh, I challenge it," doesn't it come down automatically because it's already done it?
It's saying yeah, but it's still, then guy backs out of the box, got to do his gloves, fix his shoe, wipe off some
Talk to
dirt,
himself,
put the dirt back on the bat, spit on his hand. Oh, that was clearly a ball. The computer's stupid too. I mean, come on. Like, I don't get it. Like, we've taken out the human element out of all sports, basically. Everything's got a replay and instant replay.
I'm sorry, but I think the umpires call bad games.
But this is not fair to the guys that played in the 60s, 70s, 80s that probably got robbed. Think about their numbers. How much more would they have had if they could have done some of these things?
It usually goes against the pitcher.
But it could go because if the guy calls a ball, the pitcher can challenge if it's a strike.
Well, right. I'm saying it usually screws the pitcher 9 out of 10 times.
But it can be both ways now.
But now that pitcher will get that pitch, and hey, it's a strike. I don't know. Look, if they only have 4 in a game, it'll be an extra minute. For an extra minute, I want the ball strikes be called right. And
it takes 20, 30 seconds for these guys just to get up to bat half the time.
I know it does.
So after the call's done, then they got to do the whole thing again. Well,
they have a pitch clock.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got to get in there, or you get another ball. Or
either make it all unanimous. Just let the computer call it every time.
Well, that's what I was saying. If it
why
works
don't they just do that then?
You just have the ball.
Just let the computer do it.
Yeah.
Then there's no argument about this. I don't even get it.
And then you just have the umpire sit in a lawn chair behind the catcher, just waiting till he has to call somebody out.
What was it? Naked Gun 2.5, whatever, and then he could do the splits and do everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm making puttanesca sauce. I don't know what is that? Puttanesca sauce. Whoops, wrong chat.
Wrong chat.
Hey, I was like, James, what is that, buddy? Is it good?
Yo, James. There we go. Sounds good.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Ron. We'll see how it's not going to be in the regular season, so I think they wouldn't probably do it till next season if they're going to do it officially during the regular season. But let's move on. Let's do our split decisions. All right, this one's for Danny. Danny, this is our next segment called Split Decisions, which means we're going to give each other 2 more likely scenarios, and then we make a decision. Name of the topic, Split Decisions. It's our segment, Split Decisions. I am first this week, Ron, so I will start us off. My first split decision for you is this, Ron. Which quarterback is more likely to be starting for the New York Giants next season? Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson?
What was the first one?
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumblings about that.
Mm-hmm.
For the New York Giants, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Garrett or Parsons. Yeah, Myles Garrett for Parsons might be a scenario that you could see happen. That would be smart. That would be a smart one. James seems to think Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think that is more likely. I think it's more likely.
I know a lot of rumblings about the Stafford thing.
I know. I know. That's a tough one because I think it's going to be one of those two.
And then Aaron Rodgers really might want to try to stick it to the Jets. So I could see him just going to the Giants just because, like the other New York team. And even if he wins 7 games, that's more than he ever did with the Jets.
Yeah, the whole joke about him going to Minnesota is absurd, and
Yeah,
he's not going to Minnesota.
That's not going to happen. I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go Stafford.
I knew I could talk you into it, right? Stafford.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
Because
which is
it's
crazy
always possible Russell Wilson stays with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and if I'm Stafford, I don't know why I want to do this, but I guess you know what? Things are bad with the Rams and the contract. It may happen. May happen.
They got rid of his cup, right?
And he might sell more mattresses in New York. So can't wait to see all those commercials. Can't wait to see all those commercials. Your first split decision, Ron.
Wow.
That's his commercial. That he does the commercial with his wife. They're sleeping on that mattress.
All right, Alex Brett. Okay, what is more likely to happen? Alex Bregman plays second base all season.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Bregman moves to shortstop after Trevor Story gets hurt.
Don't even ask any more questions. Okay, no.
Or Alex Bregman moves to third base and Devers goes to DH. Or
fourth option. Okay.
Or Bregman plays third base and Devers is traded.
I don't think they trade Devers. I just think bad luck after Mookie Betts and all that stuff and getting rid of some of those guys and Bogarts, and a lot of the fans were upset. You can't trade Devers right now. It's a bad PR move for Boston. I could see, though, the Bregman thing to third as being the most likely. Over under 40%. So Yankees say, oh, yes. I was going to talk. You just ruined my final thoughts, James, but give me a second. More over 50%. Over 50%. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Did you hear about this rule change for the Yankees? It was going to be my final thought.
It's absurd.
So now you can have facial hair. It's allowed. It has to be clean cut beards. If you're going to do a beard, it can't be the Boston Red Sox giant massacre things. But anyway, it'll be on my final thought. But I'm going over 50%, James. But I could see the move to third because what I think is going to happen is pressure from the fans. As soon as he has a couple errors or something bad, bad play at third.
Which will be the first game.
You're going to start to see that. And I think it's eventually the pressure from the organization to say, sorry, we're moving you. Like Alex Cora is not going to have an option other than to make that move. So I think it'll get forced. The Yankees are going to suck without Soto. I don't know about that. We'll see. They built a better team. I think they did. They built a pretty good team. Our first question was more likely, Danny, the Giants have Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback next season. All right, Ron. Great question, by the way. I like that one. That was a good one. Ron, my second split decision. Which NHL team is more likely to finish with the least amount of wins this season? The Chicago Blackhawks, who have 17, or the San Jose Sharks, who have 15? Which team will have the least amount of wins?
San Jose.
You don't think the Blackhawks can go on a streak of losing?
Well, because they have Bedard, and he's at least got some skill. And I know San Jose has whatever his name is. I just right now I have Cicilline in my
Cicerelli? Cirelli,
no.
Right? Was that a kid's name? That's the kid. That was the rookie.
Yeah. So I would say San Jose is going to have less wins.
Okay. All right. Danny, who do you think is going to be starting then, since you say none of them? The Giants. Yes. Giants quarterback. Ron, your second split decision.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the NHL like you just did. And it's funny how we both have an NHL going into the NHL segment.
Yeah.
Who is more likely to win the NHL MVP? Nate McKinnon, who leads in points with 87, has 66 assists, 21 goals. Leon Draisaitl, who is second in points with 83, with 40 goals, first in the league, and 43 assists. Or Nikita Kucherov, who is third in points with 82, has 25 goals, and second in assists with 57.
Kucherov still with Tampa Bay, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And Draisaitl's Edmonton. And then who'd you say
McKinnon.
was McKinnon's with Colorado?
Yes.
I think that Edmonton, with their record and where they're at, gives Draisaitl an edge, because I think his team's going to have a better record than the other two teams. So I would go Draisaitl, just because, again, last season in the Stanley Cup
with McDavid on the team.
With McDavid on the team, again, think about it though. It's still he's getting the puck to him. If without him, right? I mean, sure, McDavid would still get his points, but I just think it helps him. I think it gives him a notch. So I would go Draisaitl.
Okay. Yeah. A lot depends on whether Colorado and Tampa Bay make the playoffs, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the Edmonton's got one of the best records in the league today. So if it was today, I'd say, listen, Edmonton, better record, was in the cup last year. This guy carried it on this season. He's still playing with the best player in the world.
Yeah.
And he's able to do that. I would give it to Draisaitl.
Okay.
The other guys, very great seasons for the other two guys, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Kucherov and
yeah. It could be a Jack, too, that wins the MVP.
Eichel?
Jack Eichel or Jack Hughes.
Yeah. Then maybe a jack of all trades. All right, Ron, let's continue this NHL talk, though. So this came out of the Four Nations. CharlieMcAvoy was injured in the Four Nations tournament. What does this mean for the Boston Bruins? And I know, can I start? Because you're going to give me all the Bruins stuff, and I get it. Obviously, there was some debate. He's considered week to week with the shoulder injury. He played through this injury initially, and then that's what made it worse and had to go get, hospitalized. The AC joint became infected. So there's some questions. I know the Bruins, they're fighting that. But here's where I really wanted to kind of deep dive this, though. Does this affect the Boston Bruins now becoming sellers? Because now one of your top players is out, and you're already kind of at that like midway point where you probably got to start moving guys.
You're on dangerous ground.
You didn't want to put thin ice? You didn't want to say thin ice? Hockey?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not want to say thin ice. But their chances are not great. It's like 50-50, right? And if you lose your best defenseman for a period of time, that ain't going to be good. The chances get worse. Yes, Lindholm can come back, and the season he would have had probably would have been better than McAvoy's. Because I was questioning McAvoy's play this year. If we saw from him what he did in the Canada game, the first one, then everything would have been okay. But it hasn't been like that. So now, being a 500 hockey team, you lose your top defenseman, and who knows how long he's going to be out, because the shoulder still has to heal, never mind the infection.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, like week to week?
They said week to week right now, but that could be a month.
But that's going to be at least a month. At least a month.
So do we see Brad Marchand? Is this pretty much signal Brad Marchand being traded by the Boston Bruins?
If they're sellers, most likely he's done. Because
would you prefer them? Okay, so that's my question then, Ron. Would you prefer them to be sellers at this point, knowing this situation?
Unfortunately, I do.
Right? Like, I think it's time, if you keep Marchand and with the hopes of McAvoy comes back healthy, right? We still got a shot, and your season tails off after the trade deadline.
Because
you're pretty much
first
done.
of all, what you can get for Marchand is pretty good. I mean, he is still a great player in this league, and you can get a draft pick and a good young player. And there's a lot of them out there that have some skill. Okay, you get a number one pick and, not a number one overall, but a first round pick and a good young talented prospect. And you might even be able to get another one that could go either way, right? And that gives you the money to do a lot of things as well. So, I mean, you could end up trading, all of your free agents, which would not be terrible. I mean, you have some talent in your system. You have three guys, basically. Merkulov, Lysell, and Patra. You have those three guys that have the skill level, and they can get a shot from the rest of the way. Then you really know. And then if it doesn't work out, hey, you never know. You could actually go and re-sign Marchand at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So it is possible. And I would think that the Bruins need to do this. They need to do it now. They need to do it now because you don't have McAvoy, and that's already it's already going to cost you. You're not going to be able to beat the good teams without McAvoy. You're just not. So
it's going to be interesting to see what the decision the organization makes,
right?
Because they kind of like now you're starting to hear some they're thinking about it and possibly moving on or making trades or making moves. So who's pulling that trigger though, Ron, to make that decision?
That is going to be Don Sweeney.
So do you think Sweeney is going to be willing to do that?
Well, I look at it this way. He made a champion out of Canada. Maybe he'll trade for some players that, aren't happy where they are.
There you go. All right, we'll keep an eye on this situation. Obviously, trade deadline, NHL trade deadline's around the corner, so I'm sure
March
there'll be
3rd or 4th or something.
We'll definitely be talking about some of that as well. Again, thank you for your Bruins insight, Ron. But it is time for pick and roll.
It's a good one.
It's time for pick and roll.
Danny, this segment's called Pick and Roll. And in the pick and roll, we have 6 players that we are going to decide from. These are all MLB retired number 8. So they were the number 8 in Major League Baseball, and they are retired. These numbers are retired. Their number 8s are retired by their teams.
These are all good players.
And we are going to rank them from 6 to 1. This was very difficult. Those players.
Extremely difficult.
Willie Stargell, Joe Morgan, Yogi Berra, Bill Dickey, Cal Ripken Jr., and Carl Yastrzemski.
I think we're going to see this the same.
I think we're going to see it completely different.
Okay, we'll see.
So we will see. So at 6, crazy as it sounds, Willie Stargell for me batted .282, 2,232 hits, 475 home runs, 1,194 runs, 1,540 RBIs, 17 stolen bases, a 7-time All-Star, 1-time MVP, 1-time Major League Baseball Player of the Year. He won a Clemente Award, a 2-time champion, and a World Series MVP. Outstanding numbers. I went Bill Dickey at 5. 313 batting average, which is insane, but only 1,969 hits. So that's why I put him at 5. 202 home runs, 930 runs, 1,209 RBIs, 36 stolen bases. But the man was 11-time All-Star, 8-time champion. People like 8-time champion, that he should probably be higher. but some of these guys' numbers and the accolades were even better. So at 4 for me, Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan batted 271, which was the lowest out of the 6 guys. 2,517 hits, 268 home runs, 1,650 runs with 1,133 RBIs, 689 stolen bases, by far the most of anyone on
more
this
than
list.
everybody else.
Yeah, you could add them all together. It wasn't even close. 10-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, a 5-time Gold Glover. He won a Silver Slugger, 2-time Major League Baseball Player of the Year, and a 2-time champion. Here's where it got a little dicey for me, but I put Yogi Berra at 3rd. And I put Yogi Berra at 3rd with 285 batting average, 2,150 hits, 358 home runs, 1,175 runs, 1,430 RBIs, 30 stolen bases in the career, 18-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, and only 10 championships. Only 10, Ron. Not very good. Yogi Berra, what? You could have done better. Now, at 3, the reason why I have him at 3, Ron, is because 3,000 hits means so much more to me. And I added that up. So Cal Ripken Jr. is actually 2nd for me, even though he batted less than Yogi Berra at 276, but he had over 1,000 more hits, 3,184 hits, 431 home runs, 1,647 runs with 1,695 RBIs, 36 stolen bases, 19-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, 2-time Gold Glove, 8-time Silver Slugger, a 2-time Major League Baseball Player of the Year, a Rookie of the Year, a Clemente Award, and a 1-time champion. And crazy to believe it, yes, as a Yankee fan, putting a Red Sox at number 1, but Cal Yastrzemski batted 285, Ron, had the most hits out of all 6 guys with 3,419 hits, 452 home runs, which was 2nd on this list, 1,816 runs, most on the list, 1,844 RBIs, most on this list, 168 stolen bases, not too shabby considering some of the other guys other than Joe Morgan, 18-time All-Star, 1-time MVP, only guy on this list to win a Triple Crown, won 3 batting titles. None of these other guys did it. Was a Major League Baseball Player of the Year. And not only was he a hitter, a 7-time Gold Glove. The man could play defense. Cal Yastrzemski, number 1 for me.
It's pretty close. And it's not far. We'll just say it's not far off. Okay, so number 6, I have Willie Stargell. Those home runs are great. But for having that many home runs, his runs and RBI really weren't as popping. And that's why I had Bill Dickey at number 5, because that 313 batting average was great. And he was pretty close to putting up the same run production as Stargell. And the fact that he has 4 more All-Stars and 6 more World Series, that gave him the nod over Willie Stargell.
Yep,
and I think Willie Stargell is a hell of a ball player.
Yeah. Yep. The 6 extra championships made a difference for me.
Yeah. Number 4, I also had Joe Morgan. Those are great numbers. That average hurts him a little more because he certainly doesn't have the home run power. But he was still, an electric player to watch. Sometimes it was sickening. 1975, very sickening to see it. The Gold Gloves, obviously a great defender. He just couldn't compare to the other 3 that are above him. And you could ask 100 people, and they'll probably split the difference with how many are in different orders, right?
Yeah.
Number 3, I had Cal Ripken Jr. And it was really weird how I had to come about this. Because, first of all, he has a World Series. Yastrzemski doesn't. But Yastrzemski cleans house when it comes to, all the numbers. So I couldn't put him over him for that reason. Obviously, I can't put him ahead of Yogi Berra because of those 18 All-Stars and 10 World Series. The 10 World Series is glaring. And being a catcher makes that even better because the catcher is calling the games. And back then, they actually did that.
Agree.
So, therefore, I had Cal Ripken number 3. I have Carl Yastrzemski number 2. He didn't have a World Series, so, and I know one of those was his fault. 1975, when he popped up, like always, in a clutch situation.
Oh, stop that.
So he didn't win a World Series. He had to be number 2. Yogi Berra, a Yankee, I had to put ahead of Yaz.
Which is weird. Think about it. Red Sox fan puts a Yankee number 1. A Yankee fan puts, Red Sox. And the hits mattered so much more. So even with Carl Yastrzemski,
his numbers are just better than everybody's.
1,300 more hits than Yogi Berra. Like I couldn't. That's not a, that's pretty.
But remarkable. I took in consideration the Yogi Berra calling the games.
Yeah,
and that was more important with the World Series.
Those were some phenomenal players.
These are great players. I changed my mind a million times.
Yeah, what a list. What a list. And I said, I knew we wouldn't see it exactly the same because I knew sometimes, but I still thought, what a great list. What a great list. All right, Ron.
Ask me tomorrow. It might be different.
Yes, right. Agreed. Let's bring up the Hall of Fame nominees. So currently we have our Hall of Fame nominees. Go to Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page. Now you can cast your votes. The polls are still open. For Major League Baseball, Gary Carter, Carlton Fisk, Tony Pena, Ted Simmons, and Lance Parrish. Currently, Gary Carter leading with 70% of the votes. So if you are a fan of any of these other guys or think Gary Carter should be in, make sure you cast your votes.
Carlton Fisk not in the lead.
Not in the lead. Gary Carter. In our NFL, Ron. Jim Kelly, Dan Fouts, John Elway, Warren Moon, Bernie Kosar. Again, you can cast your votes.
How is Matt Castle not on this list?
We thought about it. Next time. John Elway leading this group with 73% of the vote right now. Again, everybody has a vote now. But if you'd want to get one of your guys in there that you think should get into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, cast your votes. Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook. Polls are open now. Join and then make sure you vote and check out the Sports Unfolded website. You can check out the Hall of Fame page that we have constructed with all of the inductees and as well as who's been in there. Phil Esposito just got in on our last voting. So a lot of talented players, a lot of great players, but these are all voted on by the fans, which is really cool. So the fans have voted and those are our inductees. So check out Sports Unfolded website as well as the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page to cast your votes. Ron, it is prediction time. And this was a rough week for us. I went 2-5, Ron 3-4, Danny 3-1, but Danny, you didn't participate in all the games, so we need you to participate in every one to actually win a prize. Ron has been giving out in Rhode Island Broadcasting some prizes for the winners. So again, if you are joining us live, Danny, hopefully you're still on. James, hopefully you're still on. Kyle, you're still on. Give us your picks as we call them, and we can add you to your names to the chart or add to your totals. Look at that card.
That's a Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Oh, up on the table.
So come on, Danny. Come
All
on.
Right. So we are starting off in the NBA, Ron. Tomorrow, the Los Angeles Lakers at the Denver Nuggets. Denver hot right now, 9 straight. The Lakers, good team, 5th in the West, but not so good on the road. They're a 500 team, so I'm going Denver here to continue their winning streak.
Yeah, I am also going Denver, mostly because I just will never
I thought you were going
never
Team James
side
here.
on LeBron anymore.
I really
Never.
thought you were going Team James. I thought that was a lock.
I
James
don't
going Denver.
look. With any luck, he won't make it to the game.
James going Denver.
So think
Kyle or
about
Danny, if you're out there.
however you want about that.
Lakers at the Nuggets tomorrow night. All right.
Come on, Danny.
All right, we're gonna move on. James is a Cowboy fan too, and he might want that Dak Prescott card.
Yeah, you might want that Dak.
It's all about that Dak. That Dak. No, I'm not gonna do it. February 23rd. Got the New York Knicks.
That was Dak to Dak bad jokes.
Dak to Dak. Yes. 2023. Now I'm all messed up. February 23rd. Got the New York Knicks at the Boston Celtics. Ron, who do you have?
I got Boston. Boston has manhandled them all year long. I think it's going to continue, and look for a big monster game for Jason Tatum. He'll score at least 35.
Yeah.
Put that in Vegas right now.
Yeah, I agree with you that they haven't been able to handle Boston at all. The Knicks. I went Boston here. And Boston's starting to play much better basketball. I think they've won like 9 out of the last 10 games. So, maybe they've righted the ship now for the championship run again.
Yeah, it's that time, right?
Yeah, it is. All right, Ron, NHL action on the 22nd. So tomorrow, Dallas Stars at the New Jersey Devils. Dallas travels well. They have a good road record. So I went Dallas here. New Jersey, not as good at home.
I did too. I went Dallas as well. I don't think, the layover will hurt them in any way. In fact, Ottinger actually played pretty well in that loss, when they were short like 3 players in the game. And I think Dallas wins that one. And I think they win big, to be honest with you.
All right. 23rd, Ron, you got the Edmonton Oilers at the Washington Capitals, both number 1 teams in their divisions. So
I'm going to go Edmonton as well. I think Connor McDavid is going to be on a high note right now. And I think he's going to have a monster game back with Edmonton. I think it's going to be a monster game, 3-4 points.
Okay. I went Washington here. Washington, very good at home. Very good at home. I think that maybe a little momentum for USA being in the capital, nation's capital. They're going to want to play a little harder against your boy Connor McDavid there, and I think defensively they're gonna keep him in check, and the Caps going to win. All right, some men's college hoops. Number 6 Tennessee Volunteers at number 7 Texas A&M. That game is tomorrow. I went Texas here. I went the home team. They are extremely good at home. Only had 1 loss all season at home. I think they continue that trend.
Yeah, I agree. When they're that close, I always go with the home team in this case, and I'm not going to change from that. So I'm going to go Texas A&M as well.
Yeah. James going Texas as well. All right. Also, the 23rd women's college basketball, number 1 Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 13 NC State, the Wolfpack. Who do you have, Ron?
Well, Wolfpack is a pretty good team, but I'm going number 1 on this. I think the gap is too good, too big to worry about home court.
I agree with you. Number 1 team in the country. Notre Dame playing some great basketball right now. Even on the road, I can't see them losing this game. Although I couldn't see the UConn. That UConn South Carolina thing really blew us for a loop. Talk about South Carolina just not doing well.
Yeah.
That one was a surprise for me. All right. And then we got our NASCAR. NASCAR is back.
Oh, James took Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Hey, listen, he's
Naughty.
It might be he might be having a few while he's cooking his sauces there.
I don't know why anybody would do that.
Ever.
Come on.
On the 23rd, this Sunday, Ron, you got the Better Health 400. That's in Atlanta. We need a top 5 driver. I went quite surprising here, a first timer for me, but he's run this race extremely well. Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez has won this race and has finished in the top 5 several times. So I went.
Do we have any results from last week? Because I think my guy got knocked out.
You finished
crash.
You finished in the mid-teens, and I finished 20-something.
Oh, so he did come back into the race.
Yes, he was. Okay. He did all right. He did all right.
Yeah, because
I never watched
afterward.
No, I never watched NASCAR, and I was like, oh. Now that we're picking, let me check. And it was on a rain delay. And I'm like, this is my luck. Like, forget it. I'm not meant to watch a NASCAR.
Not meant to be. Not meant to be.
Not meant to be.
I'm going with Joey Logano.
Ooh, Joey Logano.
Yeah, wasn't he the guy that Kyle Busch was upset with too?
I know James watches NASCAR. He's got to have a driver in this. James.
I don't know what happened to Danny.
James definitely, I think,
Danny's
one too many shots of bourbon there. Chase Elliott. All right. Got it, James. Great. Thank you for participating. All right, Ron.
He get another fight after the race. That would be nice.
Yeah, there you go. A fight, like just do it like hockey. Just drop the gloves. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. Why did they even wait? Just stop fighting right off the bat.
I would love when they're like side by side racing around the track and yelling at each other, and then they just stop and then get out and they just hit each other.
See, I'd rather see it while they're going into the car with the wheels. Just throwing the wheels at each other. Don't even get the wheel in the car. Just stop wailing on each other with the wheels.
The wheel in the car keeps on fighting.
Ron, before we get into our final thoughts and end our wonderful show tonight, love to tell the fans out there how they can be on the sponsor Sports Unfolded, get their name above and a nice giant screen with their information. So if you'd want to kind of provide that information, we'd love to
look like it's a different color.
It's a little darker.
Like, where's the one that I just had? Let me see. Let me bring up, what was it? Predictions, right? It's different. Oh, because I didn't change this one.
Yeah, you didn't do that one yet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now I know I got to do that one. All right, because this looks much better. So, yeah, Eric, it's very easy to do. All you have to do is just send us an email, and I don't even think I have anything set up for that. Send us an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information that you need. And look, it's simple because it only takes a few bucks, less than going to your coffee shop, your local coffee shop, whether it's, that letter, or I don't know, the green place. Or if you're in Canada, Tim Hortons. Doesn't matter which one it is. And you should all, of course, sponsor the show, by the way.
Hold on. That's all the Americans. Yeah, they're all the Americans.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Good job, buddy.
If it makes them feel any better, they are all failing around America. So,
yeah.
But it costs less than going and picking up a nice hot coffee, just regular coffee, and a plain glazed donut. It costs less than that because now we're in that midpoint in, where it's almost spring. So now there's no like strawberry lattes and stuff like that. Nothing for holidays. We don't have any holidays right now. So just a straight regular
I will
coffee.
say this. if you want a great opportunity to have thousands of eyes and ears on your business,
Absolutely.
take advantage of this, because I will say this: whatever you're going to pay for a regular radio or TV ad, we have just as many viewers and listeners as the exposure you get from those for far less of a cost, and it will benefit you as well as help our show continue to grow.
Yeah, we got 13 listeners on the Atlanta radio station.
13,000.
13,000. Yeah,
13 listeners. We maybe 14 this week. 13,000 listeners.
13,000 listeners, and then you throw the Providence radio station in there, which we haven't received any numbers yet, but I'm sure they're just as much. Just as much.
As well as SETV, Public Access Channel 12, Southeast Connecticut. So again, your business will be seen there. 990 WBOB, Providence, Rhode Island. Thank you for the support and the listeners, as well as 99.1 WDJY in Dallas, Georgia. You guys have been amazing as well. So thank you so much for all of that support. Again, if you have an opportunity, like, share, follow our show. Tell your friends about it. Join us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all the social media platforms, as well as like and share our pages. We are all over the place, Rhode Island Broadcasting and Sports Unfolded. And again, check out that Sports Unfolded website, and you can look at our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame there as well. Ron, with that, it is final thoughts time. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything happening in the world today. I am first this week, so I have to and I did want to James ruin my thunder a little bit, but it's about time that the New York Yankees have updated their no facial hair policy that's been in effect since 1976. That policy is no longer a issue. There were players literally not willing to sign with the New York Yankees because they didn't want to have to shave their beard or their mustache. So it is about time this team focuses more about winning and getting players on the field that they need versus a policy that was outdated and really had no bearing on what was being the product put on the field. So proud of them to finally make that step. One of the Steinbrenner boys finally deciding how to nix his father's decision back in 1976. So almost 50 years ago. So about time they changed that. My second one is about the fans. And this one bothered me a lot because I think about how we treat, and I know you're going to hate me for saying this. Mixed reaction from the fans on this, Eric. I got you. But I will say this. You dislike LeBron James, and I get it, and I understand why. But at some point as fans too, we've got to take the time to understand and appreciate what they've done to themselves in their bodies and what it ultimately cost them later on in their life. So Bobby Hull, who passed away about 2 years ago, has now been shown to have CTE. Again, a great hockey player, one of the tough guys in the NHL back in the day. But these guys put on a show and entertainment for us as fans. And it eventually affects them in ways that ruin their lives. LeBron James is not going to walk the same in about 30 years. You've seen Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on these commercials, and it doesn't look good. You know what I mean? Like, these are the things they do for us as fans to enjoy a game. And sometimes we need to appreciate that part of it and understand that this is going to affect them in their lives. Unfortunate to find out after the fact on a lot of these players about the CTE. But again, thinking about what he probably went through towards the later stages of his life. Great hockey player. Probably a lot of fans that hated him. But you know what? He dedicated his life to the sport and his body as well. So just take some time to enjoy and appreciate some of the great players and the great things that they do for us. Even if we don't like some of their stance, again, they're not going to be the same afterwards, and we have to appreciate that part of it. So that's my final thought.
I totally get that, Eric, but that makes me dislike LeBron even more because he should not be faking these phantom fouls that hit him in his head and he's all laying on the ground and stuff like that, because that's a serious thing. That's a serious thing, and CTE is very serious, and it's cost us some great athletes in the past. great athletes. Junior Seau comes to mind.
Mhm.
So I get that, and yes, I understand it takes a toll on the body, and it does. It absolutely does. So there's no need to be flopping around like a fish out of water. So, my final thoughts goes out to the NHL. The clear winner in all these all-star events that we have to suffer through. There was no suffering through this event. It didn't matter to me who won. I mean, I would have loved to seen USA win that, but that was one of the best games I've ever seen. It doesn't get much better than that. Like you think of the Miracle on Ice, you think of all these great moments in sports history. What the NHL did for this All-Star break was nothing short of a miracle, because that was spectacular to watch. Every single game I watched, I only missed one. And that was Canada-Sweden. That's the only one I missed. It was so enjoyable to watch. NHL got it right. NBA, NFL, they really need to step up their game, because even the Major League Baseball All-Star game is better. That's that.
Well said, Ron. Well said. Want to thank everybody that joined us live tonight. James, Danny, Kyle, you guys are always amazing. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it. We want to thank all of those that are going to watch afterwards. Like, share, follow our show. Tell your friends about it. And guess what? Join us every Friday night, Eastern Standard Time, on Rhode Island Broadcasting and Sports Unfolded, for the best sports podcast on the planet, where you have a voice, so you can join us and talk whatever sport you want to talk about. Ron, it's been a pleasure tonight. Thank you for Ron's rant. I appreciated that. As well as
I needed it. I was so much more calm after that.
I saw that. After all the other opinions as well from all of our fans out there. Thank you so much. We will see you again next Friday. And all we ever ask for every single show is that we get peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.